Hey guys, it's Matt the Woodshed Barber, and today I'm going to be talking about my setup of my three NV2s.
This is the barbershop, Cornerstone neighborhood.
So as you guys know, the NV2 has released, and it's been pretty well praised across the board. For being a $124 clipper, 120 somewhere in that realm, plus a cheaper option that does not include a charging stand. Me personally, I would splurge and get the gold. It does come with a charging stand and it comes with the ceramic blade. But the features and extra stuff is not what we're going to be breaking down on this. What I'm going to be breaking down on this is how I've got my blades set up on these three tools and why. Now, anytime I can, I like having, for some reason, I don't know why, I like having two, but mostly three of the same tool with different blade configurations. At one point, I had three FXs on my station. They all three had different blades. I had a fade blade, a vapor blade, or that was before they came out with the MIM blade, a vapor blade on one from Stylecraft, and then I had the taper blade. Then I would even switch one of them out with the wedge blade from time to time. With whenever I had three wall seniors set up with the Filthy Blends mod, I had one set up with the Andis surgical fade blade. I had another one set up with the master blade. I had another one set up with the fat master blade. And that kind of sets that tone for me. You guys saw me break down what I did with my plays. I have the blur blade, I've got a taper blade, and I've got a fade blade. It's all that kind of mix. With these, I did something very similar, but once again, leaning into the perk of the NV2, it comes with both sets of holes, which means, yes, you can use the phase blade that comes with it, that has the standard hole configuration. Or you can take that off, and you do have to use master screws for this. You can put on a master blade with the master holes. So let me just go ahead and show you this one. I got my gold one. My gold one is set up with the gold master blade with the ceramic tooth cutter. To me, it is a fantastic blend of what I like about the master blade. It has a very similar stretch, not as good of a stretch as the master in my opinion, but a very similar stretch. And I've got it dialed in really nice. Then I have got the standard black edition that did not come with a charger. And I've got that with the steel cutter that, comes with it, but the same black phase blade that comes on the Black Label Master. And so same thing. Got to use those master screws, and you can get them pretty cheap from Amazon. I think you can even purchase them from Andis themselves. But I've got it set up with the phase blade, and I love the phase blade, guys. I do still love the surgical fade blade from Andis, but the phase works so seamlessly into the Black Label GTX, the M-Force blade, that I don't feel like I need it right now. Maybe I'll come back to it, but right now I don't feel like I need it. And then I've got what was first sent to me, which was, I'm not gonna say the prototype, but it was well, I guess it was the prototype at the time, was the one that they originally sent me before the release. And that came with the metal bracket, but it was black. It did also come with the ceramic cutter, but I've got it with the Fat Master blade. And so just to explain what I do whenever I use my tools like this, I cut in a way where I often cut from top to bottom after having set up a baseline and my bald line. So what I mean by baseline is whatever I'm going to be blending the top into, which is the meat of the parietal ridge, I'll set that tone with, let's say, my Fat Master blade all the way open, which puts it at around a 2. So I'll do that. And so that right there sets my baseline. Then I'll come back through with my GTX Exos, create the bald line. That way I've got that set up. Then I go back in and I work from top to bottom, and that's how I blur out my fades, typically. Sometimes I shake it up. I'm ADHD. I do what I want. But that's the purpose of me having blades set up like that. And with having that, you have a familiar cutting tool with each familiar cutting blade length. So at one point, I had 3 masters set up like this. I've had the wall senior set up like this. I've got the plays set up like this. This is just how I like to operate. And it's a nice, consistent way to move from one tool to the next without feeling like you're too out of it. Now, one thing I've also done is with my Revite. Now, perk of the Revite, I may have a separate video where I go deeper on this, is that since those blade mags or cartridges, whatever you want to call them, to me, it's almost like loading a gun. So it's a magazine. I put that magazine on there and it has a new blade on it. So I have 3 different magazines set up with, phase blade, master blade. Actually, I think on that one, I have a surgical fade blade, master blade, fat master blade. So it's just a nice mix, guys. If you do not always want to reach for your detachables, this is a good way to go with that, because I don't care what you say, blades will always cut cleaner than guards. Now, whenever you get to the shorter guards, like a 1.5 guard, those are great for buffing out stuff because they're blending guards. They help buff out harsh lines. Just think about it for a second. Whenever you were in school for cutting hair, how do you take out a horizontal line? By cutting vertically. How do you take out a vertical line? By cutting horizontal. You have to do opposites to blend. So if you put in a harsh, strict line, what takes it out? A non-harsh, non-strict blade. That's why that half guard does what it does. It's a buffing blade. It helps push out that stuff because it's not as consistent of a cutting stroke. It's not the same as grabbing a clipper, pushing it out to a half, and using it that way. So in my personal opinion, I think blades will always cut smoother, but guards have their place. But a lot of people have been asking me, do more detachable stuff, and I'm going to. But I have to be very purposeful in this. I want to be very clear. I think both are important. I'm not a detachable guy. I'm not an adjustable guy. I'm a barber, and I like tools. So I use my detachables because they've got their place, and I love them. But I'm not going to say that adjustables aren't important either. Whenever people are like, oh, can you fade with detachables? Yeah, I can fade with just detachables, but I don't have to. That's what I don't get about this whole argument of detachable versus adjustable. I don't have to do that. So whenever I set most of my fades up with a detachable, sure, I do that. But whenever I need to fine tune it, man, I grab my adjustables because I can dial it in, which I can't do with detachables. Now, does it mean I can't cut with that? No, I can. It's just make it easier on yourself, guys. You don't have to be tribal. We can stop being tribal. That's one thing with this whole, this brand, disliking this brand, all that stuff. Man, I like tools. I like Babelist tools. I like Andis tools. I like some wall tools. I like some Stylecraft tools. I like T-Pub, even though everybody hates the dude, apparently. It is what it is. I've never tried a Coco tool. I don't hate them. I just never tried them. I've tried one caliber tool, and I liked it. It was that 50 cal BMG. If I can say anything, it'd be stop being tribal about stuff. Man, a lot of you cats are young still. I'm 40. I'm too old for that shit. I ain't doing that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't like them because of this, or I don't like that. No. If they make a good tool, I'll cut with it. And if it's not a good tool, even though I may like them, then there might be some problems. It is what it is. I've had great tools from every company, and I've had bad tools from every company. Rant over. It's been a while since I've been on a rant. The ENVY 2, guys, is a great tool, especially if you are just wanting to get in on the Andis platform. One of the best things about having the phase blade or the master blade on these is that you can use those double magnetic purple guards. Now, I know that everybody's crazy happy that they brought back the 0 guard, but that's not the only guard that is like that, guys. They do have from 0 all the way up to 8 in those double magnetic guard sets. They come in, I think, 2 different sets to get those, but they are worth getting. So that's one of the best perks about this is that if you want to have an entryway into that guard set, you don't have to buy a master anymore if you just didn't like that clipper. You don't have to have a modded clipper with the master blade. If you just want to get into it, get that gold ENVY 2. Get that charging stand, that ceramic cutter, slap a master blade on it, a phase blade on it, a surgical fade blade on it, a fat master blade on it. Try them out, guys. It's worth doing. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please click that like button, subscribe, share this with your barber friends. Let's get this community growing. Let's keep those comments humble and kind, and as always, I'll check you guys in the next one.